Hey, what's going on, people? So, yesterday I put up my video talking about the whole uh, female Adeptus Custodes are now canon in Warhammer 40,000 as of the release of the 10th edition Adeptus Custodes Codex. I talked a lot in that video about my opinion on it and how I feel about this change being made, because it is a change, and it doesn't matter what Games Workshop says, it is a change. It's not them trying to say that female custodians have always been there is a lie. It just is. There's never been a reference to a single female custodian by name or otherwise in any of the lore, codexes, novels, nothing. And there's never been a female custodian model. And they've never made female custodian unhelmeted female heads for custodies. Like, it's a lie. It's 100% a lie. It is a change. But my overall feelings on it can be watched in that video. You can find it on my channel. What I forgot to say in that video, though, is what I think the fan base should do in response to this, and that's what I'm going to talk about here today. So here, there's one of two responses here, right? If it's based on how you feel. If you feel like this change that they've made is fine and it doesn't matter and it's no big deal, then I don't think you should really do anything moving forward. I think you should just keep enjoying the hobby as you normally have. That's your right to do so. You can feel whichever way you want to feel. That's the way it is. But, and here's the thing, this is where I'm going to kind of like point a finger at some people. And it's not who you'd expect. I'm not pointing any kind of blame. I'm not playing the blame game with Games Workshop, because I expect this from companies at this point, what they're doing. And I'm not going to play the blame game with Amazon. I know there's a rumor going around that this is because of the Amazon show. For those of you who don't know, the current rumor that is apparently leaked or whatever, you got to take all this shit with a grain of salt. But apparently the current rumor is Amazon, for the Netflix show, wanted a female protagonist who is both a superhuman and wears power armor, and they landed on Custodes. They push for it to be a sister of battle, but ultimately Amazon and whoever owns Amazon, let's just put it that way, they're not cool with the idea. It doesn't gel with their ESG, DEI bullshit of Warhammer 40,000 is definitely a fictional universe where it's like it's in the DNA of Warhammer 40,000. Human women can never reach the same potential as human men, because in Warhammer 40,000 human men can become genetically augmented super soldiers and women cannot. And that's the way it's always been in Warhammer 40,000. You can be a badass female, but you're always going to be a normal. In 40K, if you're a female, you're going to be a normal female. You're going to be a normal human female, and there's a cap on that. Whereas the men, not all men, there are plenty of male human beings in the Warhammer 40,000 lore that go to try to become a Custodes or a Space Marine, and somewhere along the way they fail to complete the process and they die. So not every man, but if you're a female, it's written right off the bat, like you can never reach the same potential as a man, because just by virtue of him being a man, a male human being, there is initially the potential that they could be a superhuman, and you as a woman cannot. That's in the lore. If you have a problem with that, suck it up, Buttercup. Go find something else to be into. 40K is not for you. We don't give a shit. But that is the way it is. And apparently the rumor was Amazon has a problem with that, and so they want to get rid of that. They want to show that there can be a female superhuman, because that sets the bar, like human and women and men are equal in all ways, and men don't have any kind of like inherent higher potential than women. Well, in 40K they do. In the 40K fictional universe they do. Just by virtue of them being born male, they have the potential to be superhuman. Female human beings do not. So that's the rumor of why this all happened. But like I said, you got to take it with a grain of salt. But I'm not pointing the blame game. I'm not playing the blame game pointing fingers at Amazon. I'm not pointing. The people I'm going to play the blame game with are the fans who have a problem with this, and yet they're going to keep on going as if business is normal, because they just have nothing the fuck else in their lives other than Warhammer 40,000. And the idea of like not being into 40K anymore makes them want to kill themselves. Like, that's some cringe shit. Like, if 40K is like your heroin, you're a fucking idiot. You are. Me, myself, I personally, I'm not at the point yet with this change where I'm like, I'm selling all my models, I'm selling my Ultramarines army, I'm selling all my books, I'm selling this whole shelf of Joy Toy Warhammer 40K figures. I'm not at that level yet. But I did cancel my subscription. I turned off the auto renew. I wrote in there why. I said this is because of the female Space Marines thing. Go woke, go broke. And yeah, I am from this point forward not going to give Games Workshop a single cent of my money at all. And unfortunately, that does include buying GW products at my local comic and hobby store. It sucks for that store, but, and I understand the argument of like, look, the products that are in the store on the shelf, Games Workshop's already gotten the money for those. So don't buy, you can buy those. Well, no, because if I buy those off the shelf, then the store is just going to buy more from Games Workshop to replenish those. So no, I'm not buying those either. If I want new models or anything, it's going to come off of eBay and it's going to be used. That way Games Workshop gets, whether it's models, books, doesn't matter. I'm buying it off. It's going to be off eBay, Facebook Marketplace. It's going to be used stuff. That way they get no money from me. That's where I'm at. But there are people out there, and you know who you are, where it's like your life is so fucking empty that like you wake up every day and I'm not saying you don't have like a significant other in your life. I'm not saying you're that like empty and lonely, but if you do have a significant other, the kind of people I'm talking about, if you do have a significant other, if you do have people to share your life with, they're oftentimes they're exactly the same way you are, which sucks. Like the way you are sucks, because you're the kind of person that rolls out of bed and you go to some piece of shit dead end job that you don't really give a fuck about, and you do that job simply to earn enough money to pay your rent and bills and have a little bit left over to be into something like Warhammer 40K. And that's all you have in your life. That's all you have to make you happy. And because of that, you're going to keep giving this company money even though you disagree with this change. Because what's the alternative? No more 40K? Well, then what do you have in your life? Like that's the people that I'm going to take an issue with. If your life is so empty that you cannot bring yourself to cut 40K out of it a little bit, especially when 40K is kind of fucking with you to begin with, that's like being on the playground at school as a little kid and you're so lonely that you will let the bully you just to have some human interaction. That's so sad and pathetic. That's so sad and pathetic. That's cringe as hell. All right. In this analogy, for the analogy here, Games Workshop is the bully. You're the kid on the playground, and you're so lonely, and your life is in existence is so empty, and you're so desperate for human interaction. You will just sit there and you'll let the bully you, just to have some interaction, just to have human interaction. Just because you have nothing else in your life to entertain yourself with, or be proud of, or feel fulfilled with, you will continue to give this company money even though you disagree with everything that they're doing. If that's you, go fuck yourself. 100%, like eat shit and die. 100, you are the worst kind of human being. You have no principles, no values, no honor, no integrity, no backbone, no spine. You are a ballless, cowardless punk. That's you. If that's you. If you have a problem with this Custodes thing and you give Games Workshop a single cent more, you suck. You absolutely suck. Like I said, if you're cool with the female custodian thing, by all means, keep buying all the models you want, right? Let's vote with our dollar, people. Because when you have these big ass corporations, and whether or not we want to realize it, Games Workshop itself is a big ass corporation, Amazon is a big ass corporation. They're talking about how BlackRock and Vanguard own significant portions of Games Workshop. I'd be willing to bet they own some. I'd be willing to bet they have their fucking fingers in Amazon as well. Like, the only thing that motivates these people and moves these people is money, right? That's it. So if you're not willing to cut off the money flow, then they're just going to do whatever the fuck they want. And the only reason you would have a problem with what they're doing with the Custodes and then keep giving them money, the only reason you would do that is if you literally just have, you can't bring yourself to not put money into this hobby because it's all you've got. You have nothing else to entertain yourself with, nothing else to feel proud of, nothing else to feel fulfilled by, nothing. Nothing else in your life. You're this lonely, miserable, empty life person with just 40K and like a shitty apartment, and that's it. And you might have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, but your girlfriend or boyfriend or husband or wife or whoever the fuck they are, they're the same way as you. They're exactly the same as you. They also suck. Because you wouldn't have been able to land anyone else besides someone identical to you. And for those of you out there who are like, this guy, me, he's talking sense right now. I do need to stop giving them money. Let's say you want to take it so far as you do want to get rid of your armies and sell your models. There are alternatives, right? And this is for those people too who are reluctant to cut the money flow off, but they're just like, well, what else am I going to do? What am I going to be into? What else do I have? I got some alternatives for you. On my channel right now, I have videos talking about 2 alternative tabletop war games. One of them is called Firefight, or Warpath Firefight. It's also known as the universe. The name of the overall universe is Warpath. The game itself is called Firefight, so I guess Warpath Firefight. It's a very similar game to Warhammer 40,000. The rules are a bit different. It uses D10, 10-sided dice instead of, I believe it's D10. It's either D10 or D8. I'm pretty sure it's D10 sided dice instead of D6. And it uses alternating activations between units. So it's a little different than 40K, but they have 8 total factions as of right now. They also have a space dwarf faction, a space orc faction, a superhuman in sci-fi power armory kind of faction, an Imperial Guard type faction. They have it all. It's a really good looking game. I'm very interested in it, and it's probably like a third of the cost, if not a quarter of the cost of Warhammer 40,000. Another option is Star Wars Legion. It's another very popular game. I don't need to tell you guys what Star Wars is, but they have their own tabletop war game that's also rather promising and fun. The only downside to that is the Star Wars universe is not made to fit alongside this tabletop game, so it just kind of doesn't gel the same way 40K does. And then another one that I have not yet got to making a video about is, it's actually 2 games. It's from the Fallout series. Fallout is super popular right now at the Amazon show. Check out my review of the Amazon show if you're interested in hearing about that. But they have 1 tabletop game out for Fallout in terms of like a war game. It's called Fallout Wasteland Warfare. Personally, not a fan. I'm going to do a full review of Fallout Wasteland Warfare. Personally, I'm not a fan of it. It doesn't look appealing to me. It looks like it's a skirmish game, first of all. It's not a war game, it's a skirmish game. And the rules are overly complicated. There's way too much shit going on, way too many different specific tokens that you have to keep track of and know when to put down, way too many different types of dice. The dice have proprietary symbols. They don't just use numbered dice. It's like weird symbols and shit on them, like Nuka-Cola bottles and stuff. It's way too bloated and overcomplicated. But there is a campaign going right now, a pre-ordering campaign for a new game. The rules are available for free on Modifius's website. Fallout Factions, and the launch is Nuka World. And yeah, it's going to be another skirmish game, but this one is much more streamlined, much more straightforward. Right now, the official factions that they have are just 3 different raider gangs. They're called the Order, the Disciples, and the Pack. I'm going to do a whole video on this as well. It's a much more streamlined skirmish game, much easier to pick up. I've already read through these free rules. I've watched some like introductory how to play videos from the designer of the game on YouTube. It looks like a way better game than Wasteland Warfare. Once again, that's called Fallout Factions Nuka World, and they do have temporary rules, like just kind of temporary slapped together rules for using, like playing like a Brotherhood of Steel skirmish team, or a Super Mutant skirmish team, or whatever the other factions are. They've said that they fully intend to bring all the Fallout factions into this game. Right now, the only 3 official ones are the 3 different raider bands, but they have like they're calling them get you by lists, as in it's a list of rules for these factions. Like for the Brotherhood of Steel, for example, it's just a list of rules to get you by in the meantime until they officially incorporate into the game. So you can play a lot of different factions theoretically. Once again, the rules are free. The starter set is right now on Modifius's website up for pre-order. I think Fallout is one of those fictional universes that would gel extremely well with a tabletop war game, because what is Fallout other than a bunch of different factions opposing each other and fighting for control of the wasteland? You know, that sounds like it would make a great tabletop war game to me. But anyway, so those are some alternatives, but just want to reiterate, if you have a problem with this Female Custodes thing and you keep giving GW money in any way, shape, or form, you suck. You absolutely suck. You have no integrity, no dignity, no spine, no balls. You absolutely suck. So take that for what you will. Leave some comments down below. What do you guys think about this? I don't know. If you like this video, please hit that like button. It helps out my channel. If you want to help out my channel even further, check out some of my other videos and maybe subscribe. Other than that, I'll talk to you guys later.